live on
We're
Facebook.
ready. Hey guys, we're live on Facebook. I'm so very happy. It is Paul Kiker Day.
It's good to see you. It's been a while.
He's one of the people that lifts my spirits, and right now I need my spirits lifted. I did something kind of stupid. I don't like when I do stupid stuff.
Oh no! Tell me about
My
it.
car's at A&T Towing where it's been for several days because I don't know what I did to it, but it wasn't running just exactly right. And we're about to go live on ETC, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. Here we go live. Oh gosh, I don't deal well with car tragedy and trauma. Do you remember when I turned my Mercedes upside down?
Yes.
Oh, my cars have paid the
I
price
can't
for
remember
being
this-
my cars.
I can't remember the story behind it, but I do remember when it happened.
Oh, well, it was kind of stupid. Hey, good morning, y'all. My buddy Paul Kiker is with me. It's exciting. I need a little uplifting spirit from you. Today, I dressed casual, and I have on a shirt that says, I believe. And this is in honor of a great event that's going to be in Fannin County on Saturday. It is a prayer vigil and music and ministry to remember 9/11.
Okay.
Where were you when the world stopped turning?
I was the first day I actually took off. My birthday is September 11th.
Oh, and Riker
Yeah.
John, my baby, our grandbaby's birthday is
Really?
9/11. Yes.
So my birthday is September 11th. It was the first day I had taken off, and I was sitting there getting ready to go teach somebody how to water ski.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
looked at my wife and I said, I got to go to work. And I left and went to work and haven't taken the day off since.
What about that?
Yeah.
And do you today, are you still affected by 9/11?
You know, that's a good question. Yes, yeah. I mean, in memory,
Yeah.
but
We have to remember.
You know,
We have to remember. We can never forget.
I didn't have anyone close to me that died in 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
but we've all been impacted by loss of freedoms that have occurred since then.
Right.
The capitalization of fear by the media.
Mm-hmm.
We are not as free a country today as we were prior to 9/11.
Right.
And I don't know if that's good intentions to protect us or if it's evil intentions to take our freedoms away.
Yeah. A little of both. And I know you are like me. You believe in locked and loaded, gun toting.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the way it is. That's the way it is. So I had me a little hissy fit about a local store that is a national chain that decided that you can't come in with your gun exposed.
Really?
And I'm like, really? I said, well, I disagree with that completely because if I'm shopping in that store, then I want to feel like, and I think all chain stores, all retailers who are making mass dollars should have security at the entrance, at the exit, and all through the store. I think they should have security.
Right.
And I don't care if they're dressed security or if they're undercover security. I think you should have loaded guns protecting me while I'm shopping because
Yes.
that's America today.
Yes.
And I don't care if it's your gun and you're permitted and you are permitted to carry that gun. I would much rather shop the drugstore aisle in that store and know that you're 2 aisles from me with a gun if a mass shooter comes in. I just agree with carrying a loaded gun.
I do too.
As a realtor, my best buddy in real estate taught me a long lesson many years ago. I got in her Avalanche and she had a Bible and a loaded gun. And she said that kind of starts the conversation with folks and they know where I stand.
That's
and I
good.
said, Crystal, that's amazing. That is amazing because she said that eliminates the people that are, how would I say, crude and say stupid stuff. And then that lets them know immediately you are protected as long as you're in my vehicle. Whether it's from a rattlesnake or whether it's from an abduction or whether it's, today I'm in Jasper, Georgia. Now think about this.
Yeah.
And I'm pumping gas. And I'm watching my pocketbook, my keys, and I'm watching. And I feel like we are not in the world that you and I'm much older than you, grew up in. We don't have that security feeling. But I would feel much more secure if I knew that Paul Kiker were next to me with a loaded gun.
Yeah.
I just, that's me. That's just me.
Well, I've had a conceal and carry permit since I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were old enough because I was operating a restaurant at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 3 different occasions that have happened. I'm a big believer that you do not show your weapon unless you don't pull your weapon unless you are prepared with the intent to use.
Right.
Okay. You don't flash.
And to protect.
Look at me, I got a gun.
Yeah.
That's an idiot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But there are 3 different occasions that I did not pull, but I showed.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that it, in one potential situation, saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
And in another 2 other potential situations, stopped a crime from occurring.
Right.
And that's my experience.
Yeah.
But the problem in our country is, and this is the problem, the greatest concern that I have, is we want to effectively remove the consequences. I mean, there are individuals that think they know better than us, and that's what happens when you have a dictatorship,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you and I have a faith in God that things are going to work out, not the way that we may necessarily want it to work out.
Never.
But I want to be a part of His will being accomplished. But to have the freedom to defend your home and defend your goods and to protect yourself, I would like the school systems to have somebody that is trained and permitted
Me too.
to have a weapon.
I'm with you.
Because it can stop a crime.
Mm-hmm.
It can stop a crime. And unfortunately, I want citizens to be able to carry them. And there are going to be people who lose their temper and do bad things. That's human nature.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
They do stupid things, but the consequences of that should be so severe that it's a check. The problem in our society today is we want to remove consequences for everything.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a spoiled generation, and they don't want to take responsibility for their actions.
Well, and it starts with the little children, because I watched a teacher today. She's been a teacher for 28 years, and she's just written a book, and I wish I could remember the name of it. But she was talking about how now, if your child on the playground punches out another kid, there are no consequences for that. They have just signed a bill, and I'll do the research when I get off here, and I'll share it with you. But the bill was passed, and I'm not going to say the state where I think it is, but you would recognize this state. We all recognize this troublesome state. But it's like you cannot reprimand these children, no matter what they do. You can't reprimand them. So we're raising a bunch of little idiots. I'll just say that out loud, because Riker is told no, because Nanny says no, and because there is right, wrong, and consequences. But this lady, being an educator for 28 years, was talking about how they have just passed this bill that says that you do not have the right to reprimand a child in school, no matter what they do. You can't suspend them. You can't do. And I'm like, holy crap! We would always tell the teachers, if our kid needs a paddling, you paddle them, and then you call me, and we will bust them twice for what they did at school. That's just the way we raise kids. That's the way I believe you should raise kids. I think that you should teach them right from wrong, and you should do it in a good way. You don't beat your kids, and you don't act like crazy people, but at the same time, there are consequences. And the consequences in America, sadly, today, the 2 stores, and I'm not going to say the names of them on the air because I don't want no lawsuit. Really, I wouldn't care. But 2 stores are 2 stores that I shop in. One of them often, not real often, and then the other one I rarely shop in because I did business with them for 9 years and I don't like their business practices. So anyway, they were already off my list. But when I think about 2 stores came out yesterday to say that they don't want you to carry a gun that people can see. And I'm like, really? And working in Atlanta and witnessing a shooting in our place of business, because it was our 3rd robbery. And basically, our owner got tired of being robbed. And so he pulled out his German Luger, and bam, there lay the suspect, perpetrator, victim then. He was dead. He was gone. And he was robbing the store. We had 3 robberies. And so I was happy. They put in all these secure systems, and they said, mash this button. And I said, I mash a button. They're going to see me mash the button. They're going to kill me as they're robbing us. I would rather have somebody locked and loaded right here on the scene to protect me. He did. He shot the guy in our showroom.
Yeah.
And I felt good about my job then, because our owner cared enough to protect us.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, we have to have personal responsibility in taking care of ourselves, our health, our finances, our own family, and you don't want to encroach upon someone else, the right to pursue happiness. And part of that is the ability to defend ourselves. A part of that is the ability to defend ourselves from tyranny. Because if we give up our guns, I'm sorry, but this is what the liberals want to do. They want to take our guns away because they believe that if we take the guns away, bad things won't happen.
Yeah, right.
Well, I was on Twitter yesterday and I saw the video of a woman that stabbed a 3-year-old child in the face in Europe and then stabbed another one. And of course, I looked at what the dad did and I'm thinking, I don't care if it's a woman or not. You stab a little child, they should have been body slammed to the floor.
Yeah.
And he was scared of her. He just didn't have the self-defense skills to do anything about it. But evil's going to happen. And if we don't have the ability to defend ourselves against tyranny, then what's going to happen at the top? If there is no consequences and people have power, they run over. It's the sinful part of our nature, and that's the difference between believing in God, believing that,
see that shirt? I believe
that His laws work, that His laws and the way He set up society, there are going to be consequences to our actions. And it's foolishness for our country to believe that we're smarter than centuries of what human nature is like. I mean, just study history and you see what societies progress or transgress into when you remove consequences for actions.
Well, I'm going to invite you to something. You're always busy and crazy packed and you never have time for stuff. This one I want you to come. You're invited to a Constitution Day celebration because I know you believe in the Constitution.
Yes,
September the 17th at 3 p.m. at Jasper United Methodist Church. And this is going to be hosted by the DAR. And do you know that the DAR is the largest organization of giving and doing and giving to other people in the whole United States?
No, I did not know that.
And I believe they said in the world, but Freddie will fact check me. I guarantee you if I say it wrong. So, but it's hosted by the Sequoia chapter, by the Hightower Trail chapter, and by Captain James Kell chapter here in LJ.
Okay.
So, and this is women who are members of the DAR who care greatly about our Constitution, our United States, and keeping things the way it was meant to be. And I believe that the Constitution stated things pretty correctly.
Well, it did. And see, here's the thing. The Federal Reserve, I have come to the conclusion in studying history and what's taking place with the average person, the Federal Reserve is an enemy to the people. They support the top 1% at the expense of everyone else. And what most people don't understand right now is, I don't know if this time is different compared to the rest of history, but we've got some major things that are taking place in our country and globally. There is a globalist movement and there is a transhumanist movement. That's a whole nother conversation. But these are major forces that are taking place right now, and in my opinion, there is from what I can see in the people that I believe to be wise, that have proven to be wise throughout their careers and have stood the test of time, right? And learned from their mistakes and become better, that we're at war with the globalists. And the globalists do not want America to have American values. They do not want us to have our Constitution. They do not want us to have the freedom to carry our guns. They do not want us to have a freedom to have a currency that is controlled by the free market. And they don't want us to have fair competition. Nobody talks about monopolies in our society today. The barrier of entry for the average individual is so high now that it's nearly impossible to start a business.
Yep.
And if you have conservative values at all, you are completely shut out of the access of capital from Wall Street. So they're choking out the normal free competition in this country, and nobody's doing anything about it. Trump's trying, but you can't fight
alone. He is trying, and I said this yesterday. Did you see the picture that I got from he and Melania?
No, I did not.
Beautiful photo, and it said on there, and I said, y'all please call your senators, call your congressmen, call the president and say we want y'all to work together. Let's get together. He's doing everything by himself. Nobody's helping him. And I said, I've kept the red, white, and blue up all summer long because we had the Memorial Day, then we had 4th of July, and then we had Labor Day, and now we have 9/11 event. I don't know that I'll change those flowers ever, because when I look at the red, white, and blue and the yellow for the soldiers coming home, I know that our president is working his hardest to make this happen. He can't do it alone.
No.
But he is out there in a swamp. You know, he said something about draining the swamp. He is out there in a swamp. And it just absolutely blows my mind. We have got to stand strong. And I'm so, God, I'm going to say something I don't ever want to say. I'm so old. I'm becoming a little like my grandmother. Like, you know, you get nervous and you get worried and you don't want to spend money and you don't want to buy a new car. My car is at A&T Towing, where it's been for several days because I did something stupid. And it got a little bit low of water and should have checked on it.
I was going to ask you if you changed the oil.
Should have checked on it. No, I always change the oil. I'm religious about changing my oil. I'm religious about service. I hope not. Shut up. Don't say those words. Don't even say those words.
Sorry.
But I hope not. They did a test and everything seemed to be fine. So we're just praying that it is. But A&T Towing is one of those little small businesses that started with Adam and Trina and a wrecker, and then Adam and Trina and 2 wreckers, and then Adam and Trina and 5 wreckers, and then Adam and Trina, and they were allowed to grow.
Yes. Despite
of the fact that they started before the Obama years, so
yes.
They started earlier. But you know what they had going for them? Their heart was in it, and they had skin in the game because it was everything they had.
Yeah.
It was everything they had. And that is what we are losing today in America. People are afraid. I'm afraid. I would love to start a business right now. I have a business plan that I would love to go back and start this little, and it's a restaurant. Do I want to work that hard at my age? Are you kidding me?
The restaurant business is one of the only opportunities that you have.
People are going to eat. They're going to eat. And I just have this, and I told Vicki, I said I could make a living selling these items. And I would love to do it, but I'm so afraid. So that younger generation, you know, I think Trina and them are in their 30s probably, or 40s, I don't know. But they're at that age that they feel that security, that safety. I'm too old to do something I would love to do because America has scared me because there's so much red tape, there's so much crazy stuff to go through to open a business today. You know, my mama had a little bitty sandwich shop in Jasper, and long before your time. Actually, probably before you were born. Yes, it was. Now that I think about it, it was before you were born.
I was born in 74.
But Mama had this little bitty sandwich shop. Oh, yeah, long before you were born. Oh, God. And she paid $35 a month rent. Mm-hmm. And the health inspector ate there every day. And he loved Mama, and we just loved him. And we didn't go through all the stuff that you do now. Today, it is a whole new ballgame. And it's because somebody somewhere said, well, we ought to add this to this, and we ought to add this. And they made it complicated.
They made it complicated, and their paperwork everything to death.
And you know all about that in your business.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh.
The majority of what we have to do really doesn't protect the client. It protects the reputation of the companies. It protects our reputation. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that are wise. Mm-hmm. But it's just paperwork for the most part. And it's
cut down them trees.
So
you'd think the tree huggers would want that stuff in, wouldn't you?
But I will say, you know, when you look at, I'm concerned that we're going to have a minor recession next year. Okay, I don't think that.
As a realtor, I'm concerned because I'm seeing a little bit of a dip with, you know, people are buying a little less house. They're not buying quite what they wanted. They really wanted this one, but they're going to come down to this one. Because if one of us lost our job, then we could still pay for it. I'm seeing a little of that.
People are wiser. Funds are tighter. Mm-hmm. The banks aren't lending a lot. But where the bubble is right now is in corporate debt. Mm-hmm. It's driven by the Federal Reserves of the world. We have a very small handful of people that are manipulating the money supply to the benefit of the larger corporations. I mean, think about it. Right now, you've got $17 trillion of negative yielding debt, okay? So think about this. You've worked, you've saved your entire life, you get into retirement, and the only person that you can loan money to and make a positive return outside, this isn't 100% true, I'm exaggerating a little bit, is loan it to crack addicts, and they'll pay you 2 or 3%. Mm-hmm. Now, the statistic's pretty close. Approximately 94% of all interest paid on bonds around the world is paid out of the United States. I mean, in Denmark right now, you've got negative mortgages. So think about Think about this.
That's
5,000 years.
That's weird.
5,000 years of recorded interest rate history. We've never seen this happen. We've never seen interest rates this low. So, what are they doing? Okay. Maybe 5% of the population owns the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You've got the top 1% that have gotten richer since 1998 to the year 2000. It's supporting the untouchable class. You've got a situation like Jeffrey Epstein here recently. Do you know anything about that?
I know that he started with a bunch of money that he shouldn't have gotten in the first place.
Well, not only that, but you look at the all of the pedophilia, the things that he has done, the question whether he was doing blackmail.
And the bad thing is we all know the people that were his friends and at his parties that he associated with, and so you have to wonder. Yeah, money. Granny used to say money is the root of all evil.
Yes,
and
the love of money is the root of all evil.
And you learn that, and you look, and you like, maybe Granny was right.
So we're having the veil pulled back a little bit, but the question is whether things are going to come through and what's going to happen. I mean, if you're a retiree and you say, what's your option? Put 100% of your money in the stock market. I'm not recommending this. So you can get a 2.5% dividend yield with a 30% downside, or you can go buy a CD at 1.7 to 2%. The bank's going to turn around and loan out the money at 7 or 8. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the bankers got bailed out by our government in 2007, 2008. They did not suffer any consequences. Every one of you out there knows the spoiled little brat of somebody in the family that gets bailed out for everything, and they continue to cause destruction and destruction and destruction.
Yep.
Okay, something's got to give, and I don't know when it gives, but something has to give. And what I'm concerned about when we get into the election next year is people have got a choice. Our country has a choice. I don't know who the Democratic candidate's going to be, but first off, I'm a political atheist. I believe that Christ died on the cross for my sins, and he is the only hope for Savior. So I'm not an atheist. I am a political atheist.
Yep.
I just want the best person for the country.
Yep.
But when I look at the options that are out there, if we swing way left on the other side, I can't in good conscience head down that country. That's against everything that I believe in. That's against the foundation of what our country is.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern is what's going to happen next year. I think we're going to have a minor recession. Hopefully the world doesn't pull us into a pretty steep recession. But there is so much incredible uncertainty, and a lot can happen.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't like to be scared. The last time I was scared was when Obama went in there for the second term, and the truth shall stand when everything else fails. The truth was he was bad for our country. Our country failed. Homes were lost. Lives were lost. Do you know that over 40,000 people a year commit suicide? This pattern started when you lose homes, you lose jobs, you lose hope. And we can't allow that to continue to happen, because I mean, you can honestly see a difference in me just in 2 years. Because 3 years ago, I didn't know if I was going to make it through tomorrow, because I would get so down and out and so depressed. And it's like right now, I was just telling you before we came on the air, we have a couple of deals going. It's not easy to get lending today. Yeah. So things are taking longer to get done, especially in special circumstances. And we're selling some special circumstance properties. And it's not like it used to be. You don't walk into the bank and shake Mark Whitfield's hand and say, Uncle Mark, I'm here to borrow money. I'm buying me a chicken farm. Or Uncle Mark, I'm here. I'm going to develop this 142 acres of land. That doesn't happen anymore. And it wasn't Mark Whitfield or Bruiser Bogus or any of those bankers who were taken down. They were taken down because we allowed craziness to happen. I would sit at a real estate closing and I would look at the people across the table and I would see the figures and I would think, one income family, she's not working. They're not going to be able to sustain this loan. And in 6 months, I was always dead on right, and it broke my heart, because then I would see that home had gone into foreclosure. It's like, open your eyes, people. Open your eyes. You know, buy what you can afford, pay what you can to not put yourself in a bind. And I love your expertise of always 6 months saved.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you say?
Minimum 6 months worth of expenses, and ideally income and savings. Minimum. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not working towards that, if you're not using the good economy right now to build up
the great
towards
economy
6,
right now. Yeah.
If you're, our area is great.
Yeah.
So if you're not using this opportunity right now with the extra money that you have coming in to get to 6 months, and if you're at 6 months, get to 12 months, and if you're at 12 months, get to 24 months. If you get beyond 24 months, then that's, you know, I could argue that you're setting money aside that needs to be worked somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepping, nobody's going to be there to bail you out. I mean, really? If they do bail you out, then it's going to crush our currency, and we're going to have substantial inflation. So you better get prepared. I'm sorry. This is the longest expansion that we've had as far as I know, the history of our economy. At least that's what they tell us. I haven't gone and verified that. You know, nowadays you have to go verify everything.
Everything. Or get ready to fact check it.
Truth is so hard to find. You can't just trust somebody.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are a few people. I've got a few people that have earned my trust, but you got to prep. You got to prep. And one of the things that I'm telling everybody right now is one of the ways that you can do this is beef up the food in your pantry. Okay, because without going into it, there's a lot of crop failures taking place around this world.
From canned corned beef to canned green beans to whatever.
Millions and tens of millions of pigs were killed in China. Okay, they had a swine flu. Crops have been devastated with the weather. You've got just all kinds of things that are taking place, and we know these are cycles that we go through throughout history. I mean, the Bible tells you that there's famines that occur from time to time, and we haven't seen them in our lifetime, and that's why these cycles are so powerful. It happens 100, 120 years ago, and nobody's alive that remembers how painful it was, so it just continues to repeat because nobody trusts in history or discipline or really faithfulness to the foundation that built us here. Okay? But the one thing I will say is I think food prices are going to go up substantially over the next 3 to 5 years. So just get in the habit of beefing up your pantry, because if a can of soup went from $1.20, I don't shop, Holly does.
Yeah, they're about $1.20 for a can of soup, which is ridiculous. I used to buy them 4 for 88 cents, and I can remember this. Ingles grocery store had Campbell's tomato soup 4 for 88 cents. I used to stockpile my cabinets because I love Campbell's tomato soup. That was like my go-to meal.
Yes.
A grilled cheese and tomato soup. That is like fantastic.
So that's another way of saving. I mean, think about it. If that goes from $1.20 to $2, right?
It's canned, it's safe, it's in your cabinet.
It's something you can use. It's in your cabinet. You're having to replace it, but you've saved money in the interim period. So I'm a big believer right now. There's a couple things I'd say. I would have minimum of 6 months worth of what my income is in savings. If you have to cut back, you might can stretch that out to 12 months. Okay? All that is a solid foundation. Do you want a house with a concrete foundation, or do you want a house with, let's come up with
the sermon Sunday at church was about that, because one built his house on foundation of dirt, one built his house on foundation of concrete, and guess who survived when the hurricane came?
Concrete.
Guess who came? Yeah. And he had to come to his neighbor and beg to be able to move his family in there with him because he didn't prepare and he did. So.
And what happens when God...
And if y'all want to come to my house and eat tomato soup, there's only 2 cans left.
And what happens when God tests this nation? Really tests this nation. Do we have a foundation to withstand that? Do we have a foundation of concrete built on stone? Or is it a straw foundation? Are we just plastic faces on the outside? Do I look really good? Warren Buffett made the comment, when economic cycles come, you find out who's swimming naked, right? Times of testing reveal really kind of what's behind the scene. It takes that facade off of us and you find reality.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare yourself? When will it come? I don't have a clue. I've given up on trying. So many things are so bizarre right now, and people, trouble's coming. I just don't know when. But if you've got savings, it helps you weather a storm better. If you've got a little extra food on hand, imagine if you have 3 months worth of food on hand and we happen to have some shortages. I'm not saying, go and, buy the whole grocery store out and fill a room up. I'm just saying stuff you use on a regular basis, and you take the opportunity, hey, when I go to the grocery store this week, I normally eat a can of soup, so how about I'll buy 3? It's $10 here, $10 there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And if we have food prices go up because of inflation, which I think will come, you're in better shape. if we had food shortages for whatever reason that may be, you're in a little bit better shape than the average person. In a stressful situation, you have a little bit less stress. And we're a country of fly by the seat of our pants, instant gratification. Let's consume as much entertainment as we can. And you know what? Most people probably aren't going to listen because I've been talking about these things for a while, and it takes discipline, it takes effort, and it takes work. But you have been warned.
And I have so many friends who can and make their own jelly and can their own stuff.
Yes.
And I still have cans. This beautiful lady in the year 2012 brought me cases of turnip greens, of applesauce, of soup mix that she canned at the cannery in Fannin County. And Paul, we're still eating on that 7 years later. 7 years later, we're still eating. She's been gone to be with the Lord for several years.
Really?
But we are still eating on her bounty. And I said,
That's
every
so
time I open one of
wonderful.
those cans, I just think about this precious lady. And I was talking to a couple of ladies 2 days ago, and they were talking about, we put up 77 quarts of green beans today. We can't stand to see anything go to waste. And I thought we should all be a nation of, we don't want to see things go to waste.
Right.
So if you see pears or you see apples and you have the ability to can them, do that. If you want to freeze them, if you want to dry them and then put them in your freezer, whatever. But we had a generation before me of women who valued the bounty, and they shared it with their neighbors. And like
Yes.
Pauline, she brought me cases of stuff that she canned at the cannery. And 7 years later, I can open a can of turnip greens when I get home today, and they're Pauline's turnip greens.
Isn't that nice?
Cool? Isn't that
is
cool?
so nice.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually did something the other day, which I thought
Let me
was neat.
look.
We gotta go.
I'm looking at the clock. Yeah, we are going to take a commercial break right quick, and then we'll be back in just a minute. I'm so blessed to be able to be with you for all these years. Have we been together 14 years, 15 years?
We have been.
We're getting old together, you know.
I didn't have gray when we seen.
No, you did
I don't
not.
think
Because I
neither
found
one
some
of us had
programs.
gray.
No. I found some programs of us a long time ago, and I had to laugh. And I thought about this. We have been through. Your children have been raised right
Yes.
in front of my eyes.
Yes.
You've seen me come to an end of a sad cycle in my life, and everybody's going to face something sad. And today I want to ask all of you to say a prayer. My cousin Gail lost her son on Sunday. He was 36 years old, the cutest guy you ever saw, with the most precious personality and the most beautiful eyes in the world. And he has gone to be with the Lord. And his memorial service will be on Saturday at Mount Vernon Baptist Church in Dawson County. Sadly, that is the same day that Riker's birthday party is, and I'll be at the party. But remember Gail in your prayers, because we've been through so much together. We were through me losing a child, and Gail's mom also lost her son years ago. So we think about, we don't know what tomorrow brings.
No.
We don't know. They didn't know that day they were going to get this horrible news. We don't know, but we have to prepare for tomorrow. And to prepare for tomorrow, to prepare for the loss of a child, number one, you have to believe in God. Because if you don't, you are not going to get through this. And thank God Gail has a good family-based church home where everybody just loves each other. She's going to get through this. But I want to ask everybody to please say a prayer for her, because she is facing the hardest days of her life. If we think we've had hard days until you plan your child's funeral, you have no idea. So please say a prayer for her. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Guys, if you want to do that, the pictures in that one song, well, after the commercial, do the commercial and then the song, okay? And you guys on Facebook, I want to remind y'all about these ladies. You would love these DAR ladies. You need to get them to come speak. They're amazing. Everybody's invited. This is Constitution Day celebration, September the 17th at 3 p.m. at Jasper United Methodist Church. And again, the hosts are the DAR, and this is Sequoia chapter, Hightower Trail chapter, and Captain James Kell chapter, which is our LJ chapter. And it's only a few years old, and they already have 52 members, so that's pretty awesome.
That is impressive.
That's pretty awesome. So
You said you want to come back to that song, right?
that song, Broken Ground.
Okay.
Broken Ground, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yep, I think we need to hear that for Gail. So, and y'all, please, if you're on Facebook, please say a prayer for her. I know what it's like to bury a child. I know what it's like to say that final goodbye. And anything you're facing today, we hope that you get through it. We hope that you make it through it. We hope that it's a day that you find you find some strength where you didn't think you'd have it, because it takes it. It takes it. You know, you have gone through so much with raising your kids, but never tragedy and trauma, just the normal stuff. So what a blessing. What a blessing.
That has been, it's been a blessing. You know, you worry about things, and you worry about your kids, and you fight with them, but no parent should have to face the loss of a child.
Yeah. No. It stinks. It just pure out and out stinks. And there's nothing, and I got to read y'all, if you're on Facebook, this is so precious. There's a sign back here that says the Cherie Show, and my little buddy Tyler made it for me years ago. And the day that he decided he was leaving ETC and he was going to open his own business, I cried like a baby, because he was like my little babysitter. He was our director, producer, and I just absolutely loved him. And he said, I was going to come by and see you, but I guess y'all didn't have a show today. I will try to come by again someday soon. Have a good week. Love you, Tyler. It's such a blessing to be in my life. And when he got married, I was just tickled to death to see he and Sarah start their family, or start their life together. Hadn't started a family yet, but such a good kid, you know. And you think about, there's so many people that come through our path that are just good people, and you have to cherish them, and you have to feel, you know, that they're important in your life, because one day they might not be there. You know, he climbs trees for a living. They take down trees. And he's like our tree service, Turnip Town Tree Service. They have eliminated a lot of stuff in our yard. And I was out there videoing as they were taking down trees, and I'm thinking, that's a dangerous job. That's a dangerous job. You know, what if that tree does this? What if that tree does that? But he puts his faith in God, and they do a great job. So he's my buddy. He's my buddy. He'd be, if I could choose another child that I could say, I wish he was my kid. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. So, and if you do need trees taken down, have you had, you know, we've had no rain. It's so dry and ball around. Y'all had any rain up here?
No, it's been incredibly dry. I mean,
it's like straw in the yard.
Yes,
yeah.
it is. And the heat burst we had, I was hoping we'd get some
94
rain.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And because I'm carless, I thought I would walk to see baby Riker. And then I looked at the thermometer, and then I looked outside, and I looked at the thermometer again, and I said, I won't get to see the baby today because I'm not walking to Miss Vicky's to visit with him.
It is hot.
It was hot. It was hot. Now, have you been to Ball Ground lately?
I drove through last week, but I didn't get to stop and visit in. It's booming.
It's booming. We have some new things going on, and everything's doing well. I'm a little bit hopeful that we're going to have more shopping going on, because not going to make announcements yet, but there's a transition going in, and we are going to have some more shopping going on in town. Going to have some more services available. And yesterday we went up and looked at, there's a new park that's going to be a 50-acre park right up at the edge of Miss Only's property that we have on the market. It is going to be amazing, because it goes down to Long Swamp Creek, and you like to hike.
Yes.
You will love to hike this place. It's going to be fantastic. Wow. And it's right in the city limits of Ball Ground, a 50-acre park.
That's nice.
And it's going to have hiking trails. You can go down to the creek. You can hang out, take a picnic. And we have a bet. Freddie says I could never do this walk because it's way downhill and it's way back uphill. He may be right. He may be right. But we got to go out there yesterday after they moved just some dirt, just beginning to clear. And it's amazing because it's right downtown city limits, right there. Yeah,
Isn't it so exciting to see? Of course, downtown Ellijay, Blue Ridge has been booming for a while.
Right.
Downtown Ellijay is doing really good.
Yep.
Ball Ground's doing really good.
Thank goodness. It's time. It's time. Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah,
it's nice to see it coming this way.
Yeah. Now, did y'all take vacations for summer? I know you were off for a little bit.
Holly and Katie took a vacation for them together for her senior trip. And then Will and I went fishing, but we actually didn't do a family vacation this year.
Wow.
Just the way our schedule worked out. Katie's going off to college.
That little girl is leaving to go. Where's she going to go?
She's at North Georgia and Delano.
Okay. So not far. That's good.
And I wish I was as disciplined as her when I was that age. I mean, I can't take credit, but she wakes up every morning and takes a picture. She does her devotional.
What about that?
And then as long as she doesn't lose her gourd her first semester at school, she seems to be on a good path.
Yeah, good. Now look at this. This is a picture of, that was Christy Lindstrom when she came to visit the farm years and years ago. I think that was 16 years ago. God, it's been a long
Wow.
time. And Christy and Dr. Ben are going to be in the dancing competition in Fannin County. It is dancing to raise money for the Pregnancy Crisis Center, and it's going to be so much fun. Vicki and I get to be a couple of the judges, and it's just going to be, we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a blast. And from what I've seen of the photos of what they're doing, they may have it won. You know?
What type of dancing is it?
I think they're going to get to choose whatever they want to do. So it's going to be really
So
fun.
they can do the waltz, they can swing
The
dance,
jitterbug, the
Oh,
roaring
great.
20s, whatever. Yeah, it's going to be neat. But
That's really neat.
yeah, it's going to be, and it's a great fundraiser. So if you want to vote for Christy and Dr. Ben, you can get in touch with her. She has a Facebook page. Or you can show up that night. It's $20 to get into the event, and that goes to the, I can't remember the name of the crisis center. She'll tell me in a minute. But anyway, it's Pregnancy Crisis Center up in Fannin County. And we all know somebody who got that news that they were expecting and chose life rather than ending life.
Yeah.
And so we know that the pregnancy crisis centers in all the areas that we serve need to be supported and we need to help them out because they're helping to bring life rather than end life. And so it's very important, and I'm glad that she's involved in this. And we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun night in Fannin County. I believe it's on September 22nd, which is my mama's birthday. I believe that's the night it is. But it's going to be neat, and it is giving back, you know, and that's what we do. When you do well, you give back. And I got tickled. I got a thing from the Republican Party, and they wanted me to make a donation. And I wrote them a really nice letter, and I told them all the reasons I didn't. And I said, I see you wasting money. I see you throwing money away. I wrote them a long letter. But then I got a really nice response from the White House. So,
Did you really?
Yeah. And they said, well, thank you for supporting us and being honest. And so I was pretty honest. I was like, well, here's my opinion, but I'm not sending any money.
Yeah.
You know, hey guys, we're back. Paul, what is going on with you personally? What do you see happening with the economy? I know you said next year we could go on a downside a little bit.
We could. There's so many unknowns right now. I mean, as far as me, in 22 years of doing this and surviving two major down markets, I feel like an idiot.
The two major downs were, I know what one was. I survived that 8 years.
Yeah, 2000 to 2002, which the stock market went down 47%.
And what happened in 2002? What was the kicker?
Well, we had a minor recession, very, very short recession. But the reality is,
because I don't remember that one like I remember the next one.
most people don't.
Yeah,
and
I don't.
especially in our area, and here's the reason why. When we had the 2000 to 2002 recession, it was more of an earnings recession in corporate America. Now, the NASDAQ was in a bubble that was similar to what happened with the housing. And, you know, the NASDAQ, it took 17 years to get back to the 2000 level. It didn't do that until the year 2017.
Wow.
But the overall stock market was just too expensive. I mean, you know, the economy was growing, but let's imagine sometimes the market's behind the economy, sometimes the market's ahead of the economy. Based on all historical measures right now, the market's ahead of the economy right now. So I would anticipate, unless something crazy happens, that if we do have a recession, I mean, there's like a 30 to 40% probability. Since 1967, every time that the New York Fed's model has increased above 30%, which it is now, we've had a recession. So it's been 100% accurate during that window, which does not mean that it's 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to put it in perspective, in 2007, the probability of recession only got up to 45%. I mean, that was a coin toss. It wasn't a certainty. But, you know, if we do end up in a recession next year, I do think the market could have an outsized decline just because it's so far ahead of the fundamentals. There's so much hope. There's hope that the Fed's going to print enough money where people don't default. There's hope that interest rates are going to go down. There's a lot of zombie companies in the S&P 500 right now. So we've just got too much complacency, too much inefficiencies in the system. But the stock market may hold up because interest rates are so low. What else are you going to do with your money? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a big fan of gold right now. I'm not making that recommendation at all. Right. I don't know that I would buy it today. You have to talk to a professional. But I've been a fan of gold for a while because it's a hedge against inflation and crisis. But I don't know. I'm frustrated. I'm nervous. I don't see our leadership focusing on the right things.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I mean. I'm in the business of helping people manage money. Now, yeah, I want to make returns, but I'm more interested in managing risk and being prudent, because the prudent win in the end. Okay, the prudent and the wise will stand when nobody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs tells us twice in Proverbs. I can't remember exact scriptures. I think it's like 22. Anyway, the prudent foresee danger and hide themselves, while the simple pass on it or judge for it. That is clear. We see that in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a time to be prudent, but I don't know. The government's printed so much money and things are so different compared to history that it's hard to gauge. Like most items of price discovery, well, in real estate, what happens? You know you've got a home priced correctly if it sells in 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it sells in a week, did you price it too low?
That is so weird, because we're about to list a house and somebody said, I think that's too high for that area. And I said, I disagree, because of the school district that we're in. The immediate area, I believe you're right, but the school district changes things. So it's so weird how we look at different things, and it could be, if you're coming from Buckhead and you're bringing your money, we're pricing it as a bargain.
Yeah.
If you lived in the area and you've looked at this house and you're going, seriously, you think it's worth that? Well, no, but in the big picture, it's worth that, because you're going to go to these 2 schools that are fantastic schools.
Yes.
So different things, and you have to look at the big picture.
Yeah, there's the big picture, but you do have price discovery. So the thing is you can have just the right person look for the property and they're willing to buy it.
And they came from Buckhead with money.
Yeah, and they came from Buckhead with money. That doesn't
Yes.
mean that you priced it wrong.
No.
Okay. But
it is scary, because you might leave money on the table.
That's right. But what
It's
happens
scary.
is you have people people offer and buy, and if you get too high, you don't get as many, and you have to come down. So there's a balance in there. The stock market has a price discovery mechanism. And the thing is, right now, when we look at the economy, Germany, by all intents and purposes, is in a recession or close to. You've got Europe, which growth
Is the
terrible.
leadership in Germany the reason they're in trouble?
I haven't studied enough to know, because I've been so consumed with what's going on here.
Yeah, I got you.
But-
I'm with you.
But Europe is struggling, and it looks like the rest of the world's in a recession. Well, manufacturing is contracting. Most all economic numbers are contracting. So if I take a seesaw on the playground, the weight of the evidence tells us we're in a slowing economy. How much more will it slow? I don't know. Federal Reserve cutting interest rates, can that boost things down the road a little bit longer, maybe by another year and a half? The problem is the longer you put it off, the greater the consequences are on the other side. We need to sleep. The economy needs to rest. You need bankruptcies in the economy to push out the foolish individuals to gain more market share for the prudent individuals. So I don't know how this is going to pan out, but there's a high probability the rest of the world could pull us into a minor recession. We've got the trade war taking place. Okay, there's all kinds of hope that the trade war is going to be solved. I don't think it's that simple. I mean, if you're China at this point, if the election swings the other way, it's already clear that they're just going to continue with what we're doing, because they're globalists.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about
Mm-hmm.
protecting the United States. People believe that Trump doesn't want the stock market to go down because they think that's his Achilles heel. I do believe that he could still be elected even if the market's down.
Mm-hmm. When you mention China, and I'm a label reader, I like certain brands of clothes. And for years and years and years, I didn't really pay attention to where they were manufactured. But China is no longer in the picture of anything that I buy. It's Vietnam, or it's Romania, or it's
India.
somewhere, India.
Mexico.
It is countries that, we used to make fun of. We would go in a store that was American-owned, the big box store, and they would say they tried to sell American products. Well, bull crap. Go in their store and look, and it was made in China, made in China, made in China. That has turned drastically in the last 15 years. Vietnam is very, very busy. The Vietnamese are amazing work animals.
Yes, they are.
They work, they save. They are buying chicken farms in Gilmer County in record numbers. The Vietnamese are tough and strong, and you know what made them tough and strong? Starting out with nothing,
Yeah.
because they were wiped out and had nothing.
Yeah, they were.
I don't want to be wiped out and have nothing to get strong. I want to get strong on my own.
They understand the value of independence. They understand the value of saving. They understand the value of discipline and hard work. And they understand the value of of having a little pain today for less pain later.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem with our American culture right now is nobody wants to have any pain today. They want all the pleasure today.
Give me patience now. Give me money now.
Exactly.
yeah, and it doesn't work.
You go in the gym and you lift weights. My son and I talk about this all the time because he lifts weights. I'm like, son, you have to push your body to the point of pain. And he's like, yeah, I enjoy that. It's great. And I said, you enjoy it because you get stronger, you get faster, you get bigger. You're at the age that you can do that. I said, life's no different. You have to experience some pain today to try to be where you need to be in the future. For most of us, that means not spending as much. That means saving a little bit so that you've got some in the future. The hard part is when the government's destroying your currency and they're punishing you for being a saver, right? Used to, you could earn 7% on your money market account.
I can remember 13 3/4. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and what did
in
that
my
do?
lifetime?
That built the foundation to launch this country ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you can sacrifice and you can go save, and at least now you get positive interest rates, but our economy can't handle more than 2.5% in interest rate increases. Is that how weak we are? Is that how financially devastated we are? You look at the numbers of what the average household is like. The top 1% has gotten richer since the year 2000. You can thank the Federal Reserve for that.
Mm-hmm.
I may get in trouble for saying that. I hope not, because I don't want to pick any fights, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They're destroying the ability for the baby boomer population to be able to save and retire and have a decent, safe income. They're forcing every one of us that save and try to invest and put something aside to, you know what, we're going to bail out the stock market, forget about those companies, just trust us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, no one individual is that trustworthy. Not one. Not one. We all are going to fail at some point and miss the mark. And especially those that are drunk with power.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of drunk with power, and I don't even know if this man drinks, but I got tickled. Now, my kids would tell you, to my fault, I was a workaholic raising children, which is not good for a family life at all, and I will disclose that right now. I blew it. I was a workaholic. I get so tickled that a man is running for president that only showed up in his office 11 hours in the whole month of May, but he didn't give up his paycheck. He still got paid for being mayor of New York City. And he showed up for 11 hours work. Now, y'all think about that. It ain't right. America is we have blown it so bad. If these guys weren't here working and doing what they did, they come to work, they clock in, they do their job, they get paid. If you expect to be paid for doing nothing, then you're a fool, and we're fools for paying you to do that. If you work, you should be rewarded. If you save, you should be rewarded. If you do the right thing in giving, you will be rewarded. If you take from others and do things that you shouldn't do, you'll be rewarded too. There'll be a day.
You should have the freedom in our country to suffer the consequences of your actions. Mm-hmm. Actually, let me take that back. You should have the freedom in this country to reap the fruit of your actions, both good and bad. Mm-hmm. If you save, you should be rewarded for that. If you don't, you should be rewarded for that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just the way that it should be, but unfortunately, that's not what we're doing as a country. We want to bail everybody out. We want to protect everybody. It's the I know better than you. Nassim Taleb made the comment that they're intellectual yet idiots. Mm-hmm. They're very educated, but they're so void of wisdom that they're gonna blow our country up for our grandkids. I am concerned at this point. I'm looking forward to hopefully having grandkids one day in the right time, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. But what are we leaving the future generations?
It terrifies me.
Did you know the national debt right now, based on an article I read, I didn't go back and verify it, credible source, $256,000 per individual, per citizen in the United States. You got $256,000? So that means in my household, with 5 of us, that's over $1 million that our house owes as a part of the national debt.
Nobody asked you about it, did they?
No, supporting the military-industrial complex. And now we've got a political candidate that says we need to start funding abortions in emerging economies because the population's too high.
Crazy.
And crazy.
Crazy.
We can't even take care of our own at home.
No, but we have to, and we're going to. Now, if you have money and you've been saving, if you've been working and you have seen paychecks make more money, please pick up the phone and call Paul Kiker, because you will teach them how to save wisely and how to invest in their future. And it's very, very important, because little fellas like Riker will be 1 year old next week. And you know when you have to start saving for him? Right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Isn't that something? He's 1 year old and it's time to start saving for his future.
Yes.
So pick up the phone and call Paul Kiker. What is the phone number at your office?
It's 706-253-7285.
There you go.
253-7285.
And I always hear from grandparents who say, I wish my grandkids had listened to Paul. I wish everybody would listen to Paul. I wish my grandmother could have been your sidekick, because she would have said, there ain't no point in spending more than you make. And you would have said, yes, ma'am, Miss Laura, you are right. You are right.
Yes,
well, y'all,
yes.
we're going to leave you with some music today. Christy comes on after us, and we're going to get out of here. So we're going to share some music with you. This is a song by Donna Fargo, and it once again shows the 9/11 flag that flew over the Twin Towers. Please, this weekend, think about it. Please pray for our country. Please show up in Fannin County at Performing Arts Center at noon on Saturday. Going to be great music, prayer, fellowship, and it is going to be remembering everybody, the fallen, and those who continue to die today because of the things that happened in our country on 9/11. So please pray for all the survivors who are still battling and often getting bad news on a weekly basis. Somebody we know is losing somebody they loved because of 9/11. I'll see you again next week. Have a great, great week. I love you, buddy. Thank you for being here. And here we go. We're going to take you to some great Donna Fargo music. Okay, for you guys who are with us on Facebook, don't forget the event in Fannin County is going to be this Saturday. Everybody is welcome to come. It is in the Fannin Performing Arts Center at noon on Saturday. So come and join for great music and a great time.